side for this afternoon. Andre Stoop at full-back, and Ayres, Nick Pinkney, Simon Irving, who just needs 2 goals for his 100. Previous best, incidentally, 99 in his first season for Leeds. And on the left wing, Keith Dixon. The half-backs, Martin Wood and Chris Robinson. And the forwards, Brendan Hill injured, so Ian Gately comes into number 8. Jason Rampshaw, Grant Dury, Darren Fleury, Phil Stevenson, Gareth Cochran, Darren Appleby and Joe Burry. So that gives you the Cougar side, top of the second division of course, 3 points in the lead with a game in hand, and needing to beat the Bramley side, who have just come out, to say the least, badly. The Bramley side, Ian Wigglesworth is at full back.
All right, good time. Big welcome
Barry
to
Greenwood, Dean Creaser, who's the brother of David, the man who's been injured for so much of the season, Ronnie Sharp, Wayne Freeman, the 2 half-backs, a couple of youngsters in fact, Gordon Long and Julian Fisher, and the forwards, Brian Quinlan, Dean Blankley, who I personally rate as a very good number 9, Andy Agar, Glenn Freeman, Roy Jewett and Paul Garrett. The 2 substitutes, Ray Ashton, who is the player coach, and the other man, Dean Hall, who, if memory serves me right, was sent off down here in the Regal Trophy game. The referee on the centre spot, David Asquith. Come by Keith Dixon inside his own half. Dixon with really no option other than to just go forward, make a few metres or yards, and Andre Stoop, centre of the field inside the Bramley half of the park. Phil Stevenson on the charge, turning round with the 40, might pass the ball, but the Bramley tackling keen and defective. And something happening down below as the touch judge come on. Must confess I was following the ball, so not quite sure. The Cougars had got a penalty, and Keith Dixon coming across, so obviously the word is that it is still going to go to Keighley, and in fact Mr Asquith, the referee, just having a word with one of the Bramley players, not certain who it was, to the effect, keep your knees down. Dixon putting the ball in touch, virtually on the Bramley 20 metre line. Can we have an early try? Ian Gately going on the charge inside the Bramley 20. Dixon doing well to drop on the ball, 2 Bramley people trying to force him into touch, and Andre Stoop still going forward. Andre Stoop still on his feet, struggling away. Rampshaw bringing it short side, this time Grant Dury. Grant Dury within sight of the halfway line. Gordon Long, the Bramley number 6, all over him. Gately going forward, turns around, does well, gets a lovely pass to Wood. Wood sidesteps, goes away, gets the ball to Robinson. Robinson to the 20 metre line. Good work by Ian Gately. Andy Ayres on the attack, straight to Jason Rampshaw. Rampshaw, has he taken the wrong option? In fact, Rampshaw gets the ball back, but was an obstruction. Pinkney going in for the try, and Pinkney given the try. Well, I must confess, when Jason Rampshaw put the short kick through, it looked decidedly dodgy, but at the end of the day, justification for him, and Pinkney backing up well, taking the try, and the Cougars 4-0 in the lead. Simon Irving going for his 99th goal.
All right, that equals Nick Pinkney's record of 31 tries. All right, Nick, your boy.
That Nick Pinkney try means that already so early in the season he's equalled his record of 31 for the club. And now can Simon Irving equal his best ever figure in professional rugby league of 99 goals? And Simon poised, the crowd going extremely quiet, and Simon Irving putting the kick up, which just fades away outside the far upright. 8 minutes of play gone, the Cougars 4-0 in the lead, and Bramley to kick off, and not looking the happiest team I've seen this season by any means, although it has to be said that their kit slightly sombre and funereal. Jason Robinson taking the kick-off, as normal with Keighley. Darren Fleury taking the ball. Ramshaw to Robinson. This time it's Andy Ayres. Surely a head high, was it? In fact, the touch judge confirming my comment. The referee coming across, and Andy Ayres not looking the happiest Keighley Cougar on the park. And Keith Dixon going to take the kick. Good kick, getting a well-earned round of applause, and Ramshaw. Fleury, who was coming up on the burst, had to stop as the ball came in slowly from touch. This time going to be Grant Dury. Did well to hold on to the ball, although on saying that was a good pass. Ian Gately likewise was on the burst and had to stop as the pass came slowly, being driven back by the loose forward, Paul Garrett. Chris Robinson looking for people, finds Ramshaw. Ball coming out to Gareth Cochrane. Cochrane giving the half dummy, still going forward on the 20-metre line, and certainly Fisher looked to throw a half arm, but the touch judge ignoring it, the ball going loose. Ramshaw putting a speculative kick in, and Simon Irving eventually putting the kick over the top. Can't get to it. His opposite centre, Dean Creaser, being there to take the ball. Not sure whether David's here to watch his Cougars side, and his brother Dean Creaser playing for Bramley. Penalty to Bramley. Grant Dury being adjudged to have laid on in the tackle. 4-0, the Cougars in the lead. Mr. Asquith indicating to the Keighley people that they should get onside. I know discipline's a key point in Phil Larder's doctrine when he coaches them. And it's Agar, the number 10 for Bramley, tackled inside the Keighley half. This time it's going to be Quinlan, but Quinlan taken as soon as he gets the ball. Fisher with the ball. Moving it out to the stand-off half Long. Long giving a pass to the big second row man, Roy Jewett. And in fact, the ball going back to Long. Long still going forward. Gately eventually dragging him down. The referee shouting held. And a brief spell of Bramley ascendancy. Gareth Cochrane in at Quinlan. 4 tackles gone. Hear the referee shouting from up here. Blankley going from acting halfback. Gets the ball out to the wing. Gets the ball back. Bramley moving the ball. The full-back coming in the line. Grant Dury taking him. And Ian Wigglesworth, the man who's tackled. Used to be a Brian Wigglesworth, played for Bramley many years ago. He also came from the Orchada, where Ian Wigglesworth comes from. And Bramley running it on the 6th tackle. Gordon Long, good shot ball. Nick Pinkney in at the tackle, hasn't taken him yet. But in fact, the tackling safe. 6th tackle. I don't think the Bramley lads were aware of that. And Chris Robinson giving a dummy, just electing to make the statutory 5 yards or so before he's tackled. Keith Dixon. Phil Stevenson, the next to have a go over the 20-metre line. 4-0, remember, the Cougars in the lead, and Ian Gately taking Quinlan on, and both of them, I think. The ball gone loose, surely stolen. The referee looking at the touch judges, and in fact he gives a knock on. In fact, both touch judges disagreeing. The touch judge on this side gave a knock on. The touch judge on the far side underneath the stand indicated it was stolen. So bit of a mute point as far as the referee concerned, but certainly the touch judges disagreed. At the end of the day, it's Bramley's ball, and Fisher to put it into the scrum. Quite what the referee's doing there, only he knows. Fisher getting the ball. Goes to Long. Long. Should have been wrapped up by Wood, but Wood missing his tackle. Irving fortunately alive to the feasibility of Bramley getting away. This time it's Fisher. Bramley inside the Keighley 20-metre area for the first time. Play the ball. Quinlan, the next man to have a tilt. Ian Gately meeting him head on. 3 tackles gone, 3 to go. The crowd shouting for a forward pass, but the referee having none of it. Fisher working the dummy move, surely an obstruction there, but the referee allowing play to go on. Certainly in this day of rugby league they do pass behind the man. Martin Wood the tackle. Nick Pinckney also there, 6 tackle indicated by the referee. And good defence by the Cougars. They send and the Ayres tackled, and Bramley. Well, I don't know what happened there, but certainly the touch judge came immediately on. The crowd are shouting off, 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 and it's the number 12, Roy Jewett, who is the man. In fact, someone just telling me that a fist went through at the tackle, but the referee being lenient, saying it was a push rather than the punch, and I think Roy Jewett perhaps rating himself a trifle fortunate in getting away as easily as he has by conceding a penalty. Ramshaw to Dury. Ian Gately going forward. Interesting to note that Quinlan's invariably there to meet him, although it was Dean Blanker who took the tackle. Chris Robinson, Phil Stevenson up to the halfway line, centre of the field. Gareth Cochran does well, makes the break, gets it to Stoop. Stoop going on his own. Andre Stoop going for the try line. Andre Stoop shot a superb try. Gareth Cochran, the man who made the initial break. Andre Stoop took it well, beat the full-back in style and scored at the side of the post. Simon Irving again with a chance of making it number 99. Ronnie Bannett looking very cool out there in the middle of the field. And Mick O'Neill with the announcement that Andre Stoop has scored a super try. Simon Irving with the kick. 8-0 the score. Irving coming up.
Super Simon.
Easy as far as he's concerned. And that equals Simon's best ever goal-kicking record in professional rugby league. That number 99, and in his first season he played for Leeds at Rugby League. He had 99 goals for the season.
Super Simon.
Seemed to lose the goal-kicking role after that, but obviously taking over. 99 goals, and remember he missed the first 3 games here at Keighley. 10-0 and the Cougars in the lead, and Chris Robinson feeding Darren Fleury. Lost the ball, danger here as far as Keighley concerned. Coach's nightmare, losing the ball on the first tackle, and it's the big McQuaid coming forward. Well, tackled by Dury, assisted by Gately, I suppose. 2 tackles gone, and the Cougars having to tackle hard and solidly. Agar, the next man. Gordon Long gets it back, but again the Cougars aware to the possibilities, and good tackling coming in. Ramshaw doing well, but the pass coming out nevertheless. Pinckney got to be certain with his tackle. And number 4 there, Ronnie Sharp making a meal of it. He'd been at Bramley for quite a while. 6 tackle again, and Bramley seemed to be content to run it on the 6 tackle rather than put a kick through or anything of that nature. And Phil Stevenson, again the recipient of the first ball. And the Ayres coming in as well, takes it, but an equally good tackle coming in from the wingman Wayne Freeman. Chris Robinson. Gareth Cochrane, the crowd not too happy with the tackle that came in, but the referee satisfied, and Ian Gately making the drive midway between the Cougars 20 metre and the halfway line. And Grant Dury looking for space, gets the ball away, good ball. Martin Wood does well, unfortunately slips, can't get rid of the ball knocked on, the referee saw it, and it's a scrum down. Pinkney was coming steaming up on the right hand side of Martin Wood. Jason Ramshaw was on the inside, and perhaps a trifle unfortunate that Wood slipped at the crucial moment. 10-0 the Cougars in the lead, and the ball coming out. Cochrane having to get across quickly, but not until Fisher had made 10 metres or so. Gareth again in at the tackle. Good ball going inside. Cochrane, would he be offside if he taken the ball? Dean Blankley going forward. And Phil Stevenson, the man who effected that tackle. Moves forward Paul Garrett. Gordon Long moving it out. Wood bringing the man down, Glenn Freeman still on the short side, ball going in field. Last tackle coming up, no doubt we'll see a kick this time, will we? In fact, Blankley putting the kick over the top. I think everybody would be quite content to allow that to go. That was arguably the worst kick of this year, possibly of the whole season. Jason Ramshaw taking the short tap on the 20 metre line, and Andre Stoop anxious for work. Chris Robinson to Darren Fleury. Fleury within sight of the halfway line. Simon Irving receiving treatment, that's why there's a man short over the far side of the park, and Phil Stevenson well tackled inside the Bramley half. Grant Dury. Good tackle by the big number 8 Quinlan. Robinson moving it to Cochrane. Cochrane going inside. 6 tackle. Simon Irving, I'm delighted to say, is 100% okay again. And are we going to see the bomb? Yes, we are. Robinson putting the bomb up. Fleury in, but surely Darren Fleury took the man without the ball, and the referee immediately gives the penalty to Bramley. "20 minutes gone, the Cougars in the lead 10-0. And Simon Irving got a bang to his hand, evidently his thumb damaged in some way. Staying on at the moment, but there's a possibility if it stiffens up he may have to leave the park. Agar, middle of the field, 10 metres inside his own half. Ball gone loose. Oh! Grant Dury making a dreadful error, and I think perhaps the Cougars a trifle fortunate the referee gave the first offence, which was the Bramley knock-on. Robinson to put the ball in the scrum. Martin Wood, the recipient. Nick Pinkney looking for the gap. The gap closed up as quickly as it emerged. And Phil Stevenson from acting halfback. 10 metres inside the Bramley half. Grant Dury waiting for the ball, but it coming on the other side. Robinson to Cochrane. Cochrane slipping on the slippery surface out there, drizzled for half an hour before the start of the game. And Darren Fleury going down the short side. 2 tackles left, I think. Robinson. Wood. Next ball going out to Irving, well taken. Long pass out to Dixon. Dixon going through. Can he get the ball out to the wing? The answer, no. A round of applause from the crowd. Martin Wood putting up the bomb this time, but looks a little bit deep. And in fact, Bramley having to take the ball over the dead ball line. So it will be a drop out under the post. Martin Wood obviously realising the fact that I didn't realise that the full-back was way out of position, and Pinckney taking the ball from the dropout. Touches came on there at the request of the Bramley player, I think, more than anything else. Certainly Pinckney looked to be being a trifle naughty, if you can use that word, but certainly I didn't think the touches was coming on until in fact the Bramley player, who was Dean Blankley, had a word. Creaser putting the ball into touch. Blankley, the man who gets the ball inside, and McQuaid taking the ball and being held on the halfway line. Gately, Fleury and Jason Ramshaw, the three men who are in at the tackle. The ball going short to Agar. Agar being driven back. Tremendously strong tackle by Fleury, and then makes another 2 yards from the play the ball by going forward. Blankley. Again, the referee's given a penalty. Jason Ramshaw, the man that the referee is saying is guilty of the offence. And certainly there have been enough warnings by the various referees that come down here for players to realise that anything will be dealt with severely. Interesting that Greg McCullum, the suprema of the referees, is here today. And the kick going in touch, but going lateral rather than forward. (10-0) then, the Cougars in the lead. McQuaid, the big number 8, going forward. Ian Gately poising himself to meet him. Ball infield to Agar. Agar taken as soon as he got the ball, and due credit to Gately because he was involved in the previous tackle. Managed to get there to help. Again, Gately involved in his third successive tackle. Bramley on the attack outside the Keighley 20-metre area. The ball infield to the full-back, Fleury missing his tackle. Grant Dory stopping him, Fleury coming back to help. And the ball to Fisher, the scrum half, little kick through. Easily taken by Stoop, but Stoop unable to get away from Fisher as he followed through. Crowd are shouting for a penalty for Keighley, but the referee having none of it, and Julian Fisher making a nonsense of everything by going in and over the top. The referee going to have a word with him, presumably Dean Blankley, the skipper of Bramley, this afternoon, and the Cougars still with that 10-0 lead. Referee indicating the flop, and Keith Dixon indicating that he's about to take the kick to touch. Referee just halting play whilst he gets another ball. Martin Wood, well taken by Robinson. To Ramshaw, to Stevenson, but tackling not the passing rather, not the quickest we've seen, and Darren Fleury coming on the charge. 8 metres from the halfway line. Martin Wood. Centre of the field, gets up to play the ball. Cochrane to Robinson. Bit of a misunderstanding between Robinson and the supporting players, and Phil Stevenson doing well. Takes 3 of them to drag him down. The 6th tackle indicated by the referee, and the ball coming to Chris Robinson. Little kick over the top. And in fact, Andy Ayres ruled offside. Thought for a moment the penalty was coming to Keighley, and that Chris Robinson was dumped after the ball had been kicked. But Andy Ayres, the man who's given offside, and the penalty kick going to Bramley, and the ball put into touch. 28 minutes or so of the first half gone, 12 minutes still remaining, and Ian Gately again involved in the first line of defence with Jason Ramshaw. Interesting, the referee hovering over the play the ball at certain times of the game rather than as he is now, getting on the 10-metre mark. Ronnie Sharp, who's been at Bramley for a while, the man who was tackled. Blankley moving the ball out to Fisher. For a moment as though it was going to be a knock-on, and that probably disconcerted the Keighley people, but Bramley still in possession, and the sixth tackle indicated, and Blankley putting the kick over the top. Andre Stoop content the way the current rules are to allow the ball going to touch. It is of course a 10-metre scrimmage with Keighley getting the advantage of head and ball, and Keighley going to make a substitution, Grant Dory going off and Joe Burry coming on in his place. The crowd
In substitution, off comes Grant Dory and on comes Joe Burry. All right.
making the referee aware of that fact. I think Grant Dory will be back for the final 20 minutes of the game. We shall wait and see. Chris Robinson getting it to Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres. Phil Stevenson. Up to the 20-metre line. Gareth Cochran doing extremely well. Garrett in at the tackle, the scrum half Julian Fisher, who Joe Burry having a good run. Sixth tackle indicated. Not the best of kicks, and Simon Irving doing extremely well to get up and make sure that the man in possession, Dean Creaser, doesn't make any progress. Bramley inside their own half, Keighley in the lead 10-0. Keighley, of course, at the top of Division 2 with that 3-point advantage and still a game in hand, which will be played at Dewsbury on the 15th of the month. And Joe Burry doing well to keep hold of his man as he tried to hand him off. And Blankley putting the kick over the top. Keith Dixon's going to have to look sharp, so is Andre Stoop. Andre Stoop, in fact, the man who gets it, but caught over his own line. Dean Blankley, who, let's confess, I think is amongst the best hookers in the second division. Keith Dixon with the drop out from underneath his own post. Drops into no man land. The tackle by Burry. Fisher. Covered by Gately and Ramshaw. 10-0, the Cougars in the lead. Gordon Long moving it out wide. Sharp. Good tackle by Irving. And the penalty kick going to Bramley. The referee saying that Simon Irving held him down. McQuaid. So Keighley putting themselves under pressure here. Agar with the ball. 2 metres away from the Keighley try line. Keighley do not obviously want to give a try away. Gordon Long going from acting halfback. Robinson with him. Gets the ball away to Creaser, but good tackle coming in. Dean Creaser stopped just short of the line. Room on this side of the field, surely. Nick Pinkney got to be sharp at the tackle, as has Andre Stoop, but good defensive work by Keighley. Blank cleared, acting halfback. To Garrett. Andre Stoop in at the tackle. 6 tackle indicated by the referee. The ball going wide. Long putting the short kick through. Andiers alive to the danger. No chances taken, just kicks it dead, and the Cougars under a little bit of pressure at the moment. All caused, I suppose, by the referee giving the penalty against Simon Irving on the far side of the field for holding down. And the crowd, Cougar going up, and the kick made an infinitely better kick by Gordon Long, getting his foot to it and propelling it the wrong way. Referee shouting held. Ronnie Sharp. Good tackle by Gately, helped by Bury. This time it's going to be McQuaid. Fisher getting the ball out, good tackle, forward pass surely given by the referee. In fact, the referee, I think, has eventually given the forward pass. I think there was a little bit of rugby union refereeing there, with the referee allowing the advantage for what seemed an interminably long time. And Ian Gately, who was covering the ball, having to trudge back to the scrimmage on the Cougars' 20-metre line. Chris Robinson to put the ball into the scrum, and the ball coming to Keith Dixon. Joe Berry making progress. Chris Robinson to keep the ball moving out wide. Good pass to Gately. Gately telling Dixon to come in field, does so. Gets the ball to Martin Wood. Martin Wood to Robinson. Robinson taken as soon as he got the ball, but enterprising play by Keighley, and the ball coming out to the right. Jason Ramshaw looking for the gap. Stevenson alongside him, but unfortunately, as far as Keighley concerned, 2 men have the man down, and the ball coming blindside. Short kick by Robinson, taken eventually by Wayne Freeman, and Wayne Freeman tackled inside his 20-metre area. Around 5 minutes to go to the hooter. Strong tackle coming in. Bramley inside their own half, but Keighley going to have to be sharp to get across, and good tackle. Can Keith Dixon get through? In fact, the ball going into touch, and I rather feel the advantage will be to Bramley. Referee and the touch judge not understanding each other's signals. And the crowd not understanding the referee. But I think the referee in that case was right. Simon Irving, I felt, knocked on as he went into the tackle. Raining heavily out there now. Andre Stoop allowing the ball going to touch. Interesting to see what the referee gives here. And in fact giving the scrum and the advantage to Keighley. Martin Wood looking as though he's injured, and the feasibility that Darren Appleby will be coming out to replace him. Looks as though the weather only a shower, because certainly over the hills at the far side of the ground brighter weather is apparently coming over, and Darren Appleby stripping off and getting ready to come out into the fray. Martin Wood being inspected by Ronnie Barrett, which will stretch the first half a little bit longer, and Martin Wood going off. Ricky Winterbottom bringing
Got me worried then, Bob.
Darren
Upside
Appleby.
down, but I think, yeah, that's it. On comes Martin Wood, and on comes Darren Appleby. I would like to wish Bob Cry a happy birthday. He's suffering from last night.
Appleby going to number 6 position. Andy Ayres taking the ball, and Gordon Long getting into the tackle. Appleby, first touch of the ball. I think a man well versed in rugby league ducked out of the way of the second tackle. Chris Robinson finding space. Phil Stevenson over the halfway line. Good drive, 12 metres inside Bramley territory. Open side to Robinson, to Appleby. Appleby, lovely ball to Stoop. Stoop going forward. Stoop still going on his own. Pays the penalty perhaps. Tackled a couple of metres short of the try line. Surely a penalty and surely a sin bin, but we'll have again to wait and see. Suggested, the man who held him down, who's Paul Garrett in fact, being sent to the sin bin. Keith Dixon, I think, going to put the ball into touch. Huge shout of Cougars, 10-0 in the lead, the Cougars. And the ball gone into touch. Jason Ramshaw to take the tap. Bramley down to 12 men. Ian Gately trying to take advantage and being held up some 8 metres short. This time it's Joe Burry. And Joe Burry virtually on the whitewash. Not the best of passes, but Appleby picking it up. Stoopy going forward. Oh, picked up by Appleby. Knock on indicated. The crowd not happy. Andre Stoop putting a speculative pass inside, and it's going off Nick Pinkney's shoulder. But certainly I think a degree of speculation. Still 2 or 3 minutes to go to half time. And the ball going to Keighley and to Bramley rather, and Keighley all offside. And Mr. Asquith, the referee, not the beholden friend of the crowd, I'm afraid. Crowd, one would guess, of 3,500 perhaps. McQuaid again, the ever willing, taking the ball, and interesting this time after some 40 minutes of play being driven back. First time I think he's been driven back, usually managed to hold his own. Agar, the next man, the ball's gone loose. Keighley are in possession. Darren Flaney can't get rid of the ball as McQuaid got between him and the ball, but Stevenson still going forward, still struggling away up to the 20-metre line. Andre Stoop getting an acting halfback. Chris Robinson with the ball, got men outside him. Appleby doing sensibly, gets it to Irving, short ball to Pinkney. Pinkney is tackled. For a moment I thought he'd managed to come in field. And it's going to be Gareth Cochran having a tilt. 10-0, could do with a try before half time. The ball to Robinson. Simon Irving. Still at 12 metres short. Robinson going well, gets it to Andy Ayres, and Ayres is in touch. The touch judge had his flag up immediately. The referee telling Chris Robinson to be perhaps a wee bit careful in what he says, and certainly a good move by Chris Robinson, and I can understand him being upset. But the facts are that the referee was right on the spot and had no hesitation, or the touch judge rather was on the spot and had his flag up way before Andy Ayres had actually got over the chalk. There goes the hooter. Half-time here at Cougar Park. The Cougars in the lead 10-0. A Pinkney try, a Stoop try. The second one converted by Irving. 40 minutes more to go, and the Cougars in the lead 10-0.
Happy 11th birthday to Joanne Kershaw on Wednesday. It's love from Mum, Dad, brother and David. Nick Pinkney's favourite player. Happy 40th birthday to Paul Batchelor on the...
Second half about to start here at Cougar Park. The Cougars in the lead 10-0.
All right, then.
Bramley, of course, down to 12 men, a man in the sin bin, and the kick-off taken with the drizzle getting worse. Andy Ayres, the first man to take the ball. Bramley in a different set of jerseys. And Gareth Cochrane being driven back. The referee obviously shouted held. Joe Buddy having a go. Gets away from the first tackler. Unfortunately held by the Roy Jewett, the second row for Darren Fleury. A lot of space going through. McQuaid half stops him. The tackle fulfilled by the scrum half Fisher. The ball going open side. Darren Appleby gives it to Pinkney. Pinkney going through. Pinkney on the charge. Pinkney gives it away to Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres has scored the try.
Andy Ayres try.
Superb pass by Appleby, carried on by Nick Pinkney, and then the final pass to Andy Ayres left him in at the corner, and the Cougars stamping their mark in the first minute of the second half.
Andy Ayres.
Can Simon Irving add the points and make his tally 100 goals for the season?
All the people that had an extra pint, he just missed a try.
Irving all set. Will this be the 100th goal of this season, as far as he concerned? Certainly no response from the crowd.
There you go, let's thank our sponsors here.
Two touchages
and the ball sponsor is Simon Dibber, the Brown Cow.
Agreement, no trouble.
And the
no
match sponsor is Charles Walker and Company Limited. John Hall. I'd like to thank all the sponsors today. And we'd like to thank from Dibby at the Brown Cow, Bingley, Bradford and Bingley, Rugby Union boys are here today. Steve Greenwood, the Big Yin. And they've got a tie for the Big Yin.
14-0. The Cougars in the lead.
And the Putsy boys from YPS.
And the kick-off taken. It'll be taken by Chris Robinson. Next man to take it, Darren Fleury. Robinson. Andy Ayres looking for the gap. Number 6, Gordon Long, making a bit of a meal of it, but play being allowed to go on. Joe Buddy having a tilt. Can't get the pass inside. The centre, number 3, Dean Creaser holding on. Gately, straight as an arrow, going forward, doing well. Can't get the pass in. Ramshaw moving it right to Robinson. Robinson showing people the ball. Cochrane got Stoop outside him. Elects to go on his own. Centre of the field on the 20-metre line, and the referee indicating the 6th tackle. Chris Robinson. Little short kick through, not the best of kicks, or perhaps one should give praise to Ronnie Sharp, the Bramley centre, for anticipating it. Joe Berry and Jason Ramshaw doing well, driving him back 5 metres. 4 tackles gone. And the kick deep. Andre Stoop on the opposite side of the field has to race across to take it. 2 Bromley men up. Andre Stoop taking them on. Does well, gets away from both of them. Still going forward. Andre Stoop to the halfway line. Brilliant play by Stoop. The ball coming out to Robinson. Appleby with the ball. Good ball to Cochrane. Cochrane going forward. Got men inside him, can't get the pass out. Dixon was inside. Irving had made the move, but obviously, and Joe Berry, too anxious, knocks on, and good attacking work goes to nothing. Conditions not of the best out there. The traffic over on the behind the stand, certainly lots of rain coming down, and Bramley trying to move the ball to the wing, and Darren Appleby in at the tackle. Scrum half Fisher with literally nowhere to go, and the referee again shouting held. Keighley with the ball when they get it. In fact, the ball going out to Robinson, to Stevenson. Stevenson, Cochrane still going forward, does well, shakes a tackle, still going, turns round looking for support. Short of the Bramley 20-metre line. Ramshaw going straight, going forward. Must confess, I wondered why I played stop. Stoops there to Pinkney. Pinkney going for the line, still struggling forward. Bramley's defence doing well to get across. The big second row man Jewett. Andy Ayres gets the ball back to Gately. And Flaherty knocks on with the line absolutely open. Gately looks up with a face that said it all, I think. And in the meantime, Ray Ashton and Dean Hall come on the field.
Substitution, Ashton on for Fisher. And Hall on for Agar.
Dean Hall, who's been around the scene, looked to be a boy with enormous promise at one time, but has never fulfilled that promise. And Ray Ashton, who coached at Workington, of course, for a long time, has in fact played for Great Britain and is well known to be one of the great talkers to referees. McQuaid taking the ball, and Ian Gately equal to the tackle. 14-0, the Cougars in the lead. Ashton moving the ball out wide. Appleby holding on, but the ball going back to Ashton. The kick through. Only Andy Ayres racing after the ball, in fact, and Andy Ayres going to have to take it. Gets it to Stoop. Electing to go on his own. If he'd given it to Andy Ayres, then the field was open at one side. Equally, it's easy to say that from way up high, where we can see a great deal more than the players can. Chris Robinson. This time it's going to be Ian Gately. Gately showing the ball, the crowd wanting a half arm, the referee indicating as far as he was concerned it was a slap. And Robinson with a kick into the dry area of the ground, and the ball going into touch. And one of the
Lady scores, Workington 20, Bradford Northern 8, Barrow 8, Whitehaven 31, Batley 2, London 6, Hull 14, Huddersfield 6. Latest scores.
Good news coming over the loudspeaker that the Batley are being beaten at home by the London Broncos. That, of course, only the just after half-time score, I would imagine. Ashton putting the ball in. Appleby realising that Greenwood, the winger, was the man who was going to take the ball, getting there quickly. A gap here. Stoop doing well, but someone left a gap in the Keighley defence. Bramley beginning to open the game out. 14-0, Keighley in the lead, but that by no means a winning score. And again, and a try here for Gordon Long,
and Batley score there by number 6, and that's Gordon Long.
14-4, and this game by no means over. Dean Creaser, the man who's going to kick at goal, 14 points to 4. And as I suggested a few moments ago, this game by no means safe as far as the Cougars are concerned. It's a game that they desperately have to win. Creaser with the kick fading away, exactly as Simon Irving's did from a similar position, and the score remaining 14-4. Robinson with the kickoff. Well, a dreadful error by Bramley on their own try line. A big deep kick by Robinson. But the knock-on was made by Bramley, and Keighley had the opportunity to immediately get points back and keep that margin. Robinson to Appleby to Simon Irving. Simon Irving having to go on his own. Keith Dixon. Beautiful ball to Stoop. Stoop slipping when he was coming inside looking for the try. Ian Gately. This time the try is surely there for Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres going in at the corner. Ian Gately looking at his hurt, and someone else beyond him as well, Nick Pinkley presumably. And Andre Stoop also limping. Is Pinkley okay, but Ian Gately, the man who we're worried about at the moment, although Andre Stoop looks as though he's received a bang of some sort. .5 minutes gone of the second half, and Andy Ayres going in for the try.
Andy Ayres, cool try. 2 for Andy Ayres.
Again, Simon Irving with the opportunity of kicking his 100th goal. Andre Stoop, after looking as though he'd damaged his leg, being okay and fit. And Andy Ayres going in for his second try of this half. And the floodlights coming down on the very wet surface here at Cougar Park, and Simon Irving with the kick. Again, no response from the crowd. Tells you that the
Once again, like that Magny for match sponsor today, and the
unsuccessful, but the try
the Brown Cow, and
by
the
Ayres, meaning it's
Bingley,
18-4,
man of the
and
match.
we're bringing the ball up to the half
Rockland
round.
Bingley Rugby Union boys are here. Dr. Henry, Derek Waves, Dale Partridge, I think Chris Hemsley, and Jimmy Lawrence, and the Wires. There you are.
Kick-off taken. Flaherty allowing it to touch his boot first and then picking the ball up. Getting up, playing the ball. Cochrane taking it, making valuable ground. And again, the crowd not too happy, and certainly I think if the referee, when he watches this video, looks behind his back, he'll see that one or two of the Bramley people seem to be miles offside. Ray Ashton going to be spoken to by the referee. The penalty kick is going to Keighley. And a welter of boos springing up from the crowd in the best stand. Halfway line, and it's Jason Ramshaw to take the short tap, and it's Ian Gately to come charging on. 10 metres inside the Bramley half. This time it's Joe Burry. Shot ball to Stoop. Stoop gets the ball away to Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres going for his hat-trick. Andy Ayres is in the corner for his hat-trick of the tries. And Andy Ayres gets 3 tries in the second half, and the crowd raised to him.
He's moving well, the top boy. He's really going to town. It's Andy Ayres. Let's go. Since he became a Welshman, the boy is going crazy. All right.
Again then, Simon Irving with the most difficult of kicks against the wind. Chasing his 100th goal. Lenny, the baggage man, looking on with a great deal of interest over on the far side. And Simon Irving coming up. Crowd and just going underneath the bar, so Simon having to struggle for this 100th goal. And the Cougars going 22-4 in the lead and looking good to maintain, well, they were going to stay at the top anyway, but looking certain to keep that 3-point leeway. Kick-off taken. Chris Robinson looking as though he misread it. Getting it to Andy Ayres. Length of the field try would be tremendous from him now. And Jason Ramshaw getting it to Gareth Cochran. The lights shining in the restaurant over the far side. 1 or 2 people watching the game from there. And Appleby going through the gap. Appleby doing well. He's got Pinkney inside him. Gets the ball to Pinkney. Can Pinkney get away? Pinkney, well tackled. Gets about to the first tackle, but Ray Ashton drags him down. The crowd by no means happy. Dean Hall also involved, and Nick Pinkney playing the ball now to Gately. Gately going forward, turns round, gets the ball in field. Darren Appleby, who made that break, gets it to Fleary. Fleary going for the line. Can he make it? The answer is no. Quick play the ball. Appleby blindside. Jason Ramshaw to Gately. Gately stopped. Couple of metres short. 6 tackle indicated. Keith Dixon putting the short kick through. The referee saying a Bramley man touched it, in fact. Ray Ashton refereeing the game as always saying no. 2 or 3 people risking life and death here, and they're going to get the yellow card, I think, if they're not careful. Well, that's nonsensical to back chat to rugby league referees. There's only one answer there, and you finish in the dressing room. Chris Robinson, Fleary with him. Gareth Cochran looking for the gap. Man inside would have been useful, but that's easy in hindsight. Quick play the ball to Irving. Gately. 10 metres away from the try line. Robinson, Berry going forward, Berry charging for the line. Nobody acting half-back. Knock on, surely. Advantage to Keighley. (22-4), the Cougars in the lead, and we're just halfway through this second half. Well, quite how Bramley managed to get the ball from that, I'm not really sure, but I'm not the referee. Well, the touch judge is on for some reason, not quite sure what's happening, but Ashton Simon Toll let a punch go. Going to get the sin in, that's for sure. Well, the crowd are all on their feet booing. He was and Simon Irving now has the easy possibility of tagging on the 100th goal for him of this season. Ashton in the sin bin, another Bramley man getting a very strong talking to. Gordon Long, the standoff half, in fact.
For number 12, Roy Jewett.
Substitution for Bramley. Young boy coming on with the sand. The scoreline staying 22-4. And as I say, Simon Irving with the strong possibility that he'll tag on 2 points and make it his personal 100 goals of the season. Top of the point scoring list at the moment, Simon. Must be in with a marvellous shout of finishing top, and in fact told me before the game that he made a personal ambition of 150 goals this time. Simon Irving gets his 100th goal of the season.
All right, that was Simon Irving's 100th goal for this season. All right, Super Simon. 100 goals. And Buckley are winning 10-6.
5 tries and 2 goals. And Chris Robinson making a dreadful hash of that. Bramley through Gordon Long to put the ball in the scrum. Goes forward Garrett going round the blind side. Having a bit of a struggle to stop him. The referee again has obviously shouted held. And Long being taken by Chris Robertson as soon as he got the ball. Blankly. 3 tackles gone. Cougars in the league 24-4. Way across. 2 tackles to go. Blankley moving it to the loose forward, Garrett. Last tackle coming up, and the Cougars defence at the moment holding sound. Kick over the top, Andre Stoop waiting for it. Stoopy perfectly positioned, comes away from his line, and the ball this time with Simon Irving. Simon Irving does well to get to the 20-metre line. Phil Stevenson on the run. Ball lost, and Bramley obviously in possession. Substitution going to be made in a few moments. Grant Dory will be back on the field. In the meantime, Dadden Appleby doing well to get across and get the tackle. Agar moving it wide. Knock on, under absolutely no pressure. Well, it's difficult to envisage professional rugby league players knocking on in such a situation, but It does happen to even the best of them, and Ronnie Sharp, the man who's been around the rugby league scene for a long time, the man who knocked on there. And as I suggested, Grant Dury coming on in the place of Stevenson, but the referee hasn't seen the signal, or if he has seen it, he's totally ignoring it. And Chris Robinson being told to come round on the other side, as it were, to put the ball in the scrum. Appleby trying to get away from Gordon Long, not successfully. Gareth Cochrane looking for space, gets to the halfway line before he's dragged down. Chris Robinson doing well, takes the ball to Fleury.
His substitution on comes Grant Dury for Phil Stevenson.
The referee has shouted hell, but not sure whether Hall heard it. Chris Robinson offloads the ball now, coming out to Irving. Irving puts the ball out to Stoop. Stoop knocks on. There'll be a scrum down directly below our camera position. And Andre Stoop and Simon Irving just exchanging condolences rather than words, I think. And the drizzle now must be causing problems out in the middle and making life extremely difficult. And Bramley over the halfway line. Strong tackle on Dean Creaser. Gately taking the second roman Glenn Freeman down on the centre field. Blankley bringing it outside. Gordon Long. Stoop directly underneath. Takes it perfectly. I think the England cricketers might be wishing they had Stoopy in the outfield for them.
Barry Walton.
Chris Robinson gets here too, Pick. In fact, it's Keith Dixon. Keith Dixon tackled. And Chris Robinson getting it to Joe Burry. Joe Burry still struggling forward. Appleby, lovely ball to Gately. Gately doing well. Cochrane coming looking for the ball. Last tackle practically on the Bramley 20-metre line, and the ball coming out to Robinson. Robinson puts up the bomb. Let's play on. Grant Dury knocked that ball back, and Bramley man Dean Blankley was in position to take it, and a good tackle coming in from Appleby on the full-back Ian Wigglesworth. Bramley 5 metres from the halfway line. Moving the ball out. And again the half break. Good ball inside. Could be a try here. In fact, the kick going through. Will Bramley get there first? I would think the odds are against it. Just waiting for the referee and touch judge. In fact, the ball was a trifle too deep. But certainly a bad defensive error by Keighley, which they were rather fortunate didn't give a try. And in the meantime, Darren Fleury trying to get away and make space for Nick Pingler over on the far side of the park. Andy Ayres already had a hat-trick of tries. He'd love another one. 24-4, the Cougars in the lead. Ian Gately still going forward. Keith Dixon at acting halfback, throws the long ball out to Robinson, gets it to Appleby. Appleby straightening up, lovely ball to Cochrane. Cochrane had Stoop and Pinkney outside him, and this time it's Grant Dury. Grant Dury puts the kick over the top, could be useful, in fact, well taken by the Bramley wingman. And the Ayres offside. 24-4 and a miserable afternoon after such a beautiful morning when the sun was shining and the pitch looked as though it would be in first-class condition. Even so, I think credit to our groundsman, who's done a super job making sure that first-team rugby has been able to be played here at Cougar Park. And Bramley in possession. Play on, Keith Dixon's got the ball, surely. Ray Ashton back on the field, so Bramley back at full strength. And Wayne Freeman, the wingman, being told to volunteer to come for that ball.
Trevor Smith go to the reception area after the game.
Ball lost, Darren Flady dropping on it, and the Cougars back in possession. Can we see another try? Andre Stoop. Tackled by Ray Ashton, who's just come back on the park. And Chris Robinson got men outside in Joe Buddy. Grant Dory back on the park, turning round, looking for the pass, but two Bromley men adamant that the ball wasn't coming out of the tackle, and this time it's Robinson getting it to Appleby. Nick Pinkney going down the middle as only he can. Pinkney racing away. We're going to see one of those tries by Pinkney. Still going forward. Pinkney racing for the line. 7-8 metres short. Quick play the ball. Well, magnificent run by Pinkney, which would have brought the house down if the try had been there, but Bramley managing to get back at the last gasp. And the Chris Robinson kick, unfortunately, as far as he was concerned, going directly to the Bramley players. Obviously the referee shouted held. Might be an argument by the Keighley players that it's very difficult to get out of a situation like that without putting the man down on the deck. Come on, Joe, get in there. Ray Ashton will move the ball out wide, not the best of passes. And Darren Flady, the man who comes in and takes Dean Creaser. Part of the field as far as rugby's concerned at the moment. Bramley still throwing the ball about, short kick through, Ian Gately not able to take it. The referee saying quite rightly 6 more tackles, and Bramley through Ashton. Ashton, good ball to Gordon Long. Gary Cochrane doing extremely well, gets away quickly so as the referee can't penalise him. Wayne Freeman comes forward, and again Cochrane with the assistance of Irving at the tackle. Garrett throwing the long ball out. Well, even though conditions are appalling, it's difficult to give any praise to Bramley there for the situation they got themselves in.
Play score of Batley is Batley 10, London 18.
And the ball to Appleby, to Nick Pinkney. Nick Pinkney trying to show that as well. Gets the ball away to Simon Irving. Keith Dixon going from acting halfback, got somebody inside him. Jason Ramshaw doing well. Chris Robinson, this time he's got Joe Buddy with him. Joe Buddy does well to get inside 2 players. It's a good ball to Stoopy. Andre Stoop in the mud, and behind the referee again. One would suggest the Bramley players a long way offside. Good ball to Dury. Dury looking for the gap. Can't get the ball in field to Chris Robinson. Kick to touch, yep. And good defensive work, if you can call it that. Good tackling is perhaps the right expression. And certainly the Cougars going forward to another 2 invaluable points. And the good news we've heard from Mount Pleasant Batley is that London Crusaders are in the lead 18-10 against Batley. So the lead of 3 points could be 5 points tonight with the game in hand, which would be absolutely tremendous as far as Keighley concerned. Ashton. Appleby missing his tackle, and Bramley coming across the face of the Keighley defence. Dean Blankley rather making a hash of it than the referee signalling the 6th tackle. And presumably we'll see the kick over the top. Andy Ayres, the man who's going to have to race across and take it. Got Andre Stoop with him. Took a bit of a bang from Garrett, but it has to be said it was eminently fair. And Keith Dixon disputing it, and Keith Dixon taking the kick. 4 minutes of time remaining for Keighley to get points on the board. Chris Robinson getting it to Appleby, and then outside him, Stoopy taking the ball at the referee has blown for something, not really sure why, and a bit of trouble certainly going on over there. The touch judge coming on. One assumes the penalty kick has gone to Keighley, although I have to say not 100% sure. And in fact confirmation by the referee. Keith Dixon just punting the ball onto the top of the stand, and with around about 3 minutes left, can we see another Cougar try? 24-4. One has to remember that Bramley have beaten some useful sides this season. They beat Dewsbury, for instance, but certainly behind the referee's back.
Man of the match today by Charles
Bramley
Walker,
appear to
chosen
be
by
many a
Tracy.
miles
He is
side.
the top cat. We'll just play a little bit of the old top cat.
The most effectual top cat. With intellectual close friends get you from 16.
Chosen by Tracy's Andy Ayres.
Andy Ayres getting the Keighley Man of the Match award, deservedly so for 3 tries. Long ball out to Ashton. Agar going through, tackled by Ian Gately and Chris Robinson. Light shining brightly in the press box and the restaurant area. And Ray Ashton doing well, going through the gap, getting a try out. Looks very much as though Bramley are going in for the try, and Ray Ashton making the try over on the far side of the
Bramley, and that's number 15, Dean Hall.
And Dean Hall, the other substitute, the man who scored the try.
This attendance is 3,515. All right. Well, Once again, the main sponsors, we'd like to thank Magnet, ball sponsor Simon Dibb at the Brown Cow, and the man of the match sponsors Charles Walker, chosen by Tracy, and she's chosen Andy Ayres.
Creaser with the difficult kick from the touchline. The Keighley defence perhaps not as accurate as it should have been on the far side, and Ray Ashton, the man who made the gap, played it out to Dean Hall, who scored in the corner. 24-8, the goal kick to come. The hooter not far away. That time, any moment now, and the kick missing, although it was a very respectable effort. There goes the hooter. So the final score 24-8. First half tried by Pinkley and Stoop, and a conversion by Irving meant the Cougars went in 10-0 at half time. In the second half, Andy Ayres had a hat-trick of tries. Irving had a goal for the Cougars. Long and Hall had tries for Bramley, and the final score 24-8 to the Cougars.
18, Huddersfield 22, Hunslet 25, Rochdale 18. Result: Leeds 16, York 42. Result: Halifax 24, Salford 27. Result: and Wigan